Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. My name is Bob Lennon, president of ThermalWood Canada, host for the show. Today, we have a really good special guest with us, Kirk Davidson. Kirk, how are you today?
Doing great, Bob, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, here we are. This is kind of different, right? Because, you're on the radio all the time, and now we're having an interview. It's the opposite way around.
It is. I'm usually the one, asking all the questions, but here you are. We'll let you take it away, though, Bob. I mean, I know this Northern Heat program is a very popular program, so it's just an honor to be on it.
Well, I'm really pleased you were able to do it. And, the idea come up yesterday when we were talking about Hospitality Days and the work that you guys are doing and being at the show tomorrow night and all the way through on the weekend and listen to the bands and you're planning on interviewing everybody as they come through. That's going to be pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. We did this last year for the first time, and I got to say thank you to you guys because we steal your trailer.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
And we turn it into a portable radio studio, which is really cool. We lug over all our gear from here. I basically steal all these microphones, and we rig it all up, and we bring over a few guitars and instruments, and then we encourage the bands to do an acoustic set with us and have a little fun and chat with them. So yeah, really looking forward to chatting with all the bands, and one heck of a lineup this year, hey?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. And really, the beauty about you guys using the trailers is that I get a backstage pass.
Yeah, you get to kind of hang out with the bands too, so what a perk for you, eh?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I'm going to bring the heat with me so we can pass that around if anybody wants to use that guitar and try it. And, I've got the Calnins that Peter has already said that he'll play a couple of tunes with it on stage, so that's even better.
Which is an incredible guitar, by the way. Like, that's so cool that you guys are partnered with the folks over there at Fender and made this thing. It's just awesome.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's all wood that comes from the Chaleur region, so it's going to be kind of a treat tonight to have, or Thursday night to have, the Calnins and Peter and maybe John Mann might pick it up too and play it. And these are all local guys playing to the local fans and with a guitar that was built with wood from here. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So we'll try to get a few of the bands to strum a few tunes on it too.
Well, that'd be a pleasure. But just before we started this little interview here, we started talking about some of your hobbies and stuff, and I'd like to kind of explore that because everybody knows you as the gentleman that's on air and finishes at 7 o'clock at night and takes over in the afternoon. But a lot of people don't really know some of your hobbies and stuff that you're doing and photography. But the type of photography is a little bit different than anything else.
It's kind of unique, yeah. It's something they call astrophotography, and you and I were chatting about how I guess expensive this hobby can be. It's not cheap, but it's very rewarding. I guess it teaches you a lot of patience too, because there's certain nights where you can't see the stars. It's cloudy.
Yeah.
So you got to wait, for the perfect opportunity. You want to wait for a clear night, but I've got a telescope that I mount a camera to, and then I've got a tracking mount, a Skywatcher. If anybody wants to, Google it and take a look, but it's a Skywatcher mount that tracks the night sky. So I align to 3 separate stars. You can do more if you want the tracking to be a little bit more accurate. But typically I'll align to 3 different stars and then point towards a different nebula or galaxy and been able to take some incredible photos of things in the night sky. There's a lot to look at in the sky. There's a lot to look at.
Well, it's quite a lot to explore, but as I mentioned a while ago, this isn't just photography. The fact that you've got this tracking mount that will follow whatever you programmed in there.
Yeah.
So you got to program all this stuff in. You got to make sure it's tracking right. You got to be able to follow. This is a lot more. This is more science than anything else.
It is, and a little bit of technology involved too. Because there's a little computer built right into that mount that helps track the stars. So. A little bit of science, a little bit of technology, a little bit of everything.
Well, now I kind of understand why you're living up in Middle River, because there's no light noise.
Yeah, no light pollution out that way. Yeah. So, and yes, you do want to kind of get away from the light, especially even for visual, astronomy too. You don't want to be anywhere that has a lot of light pollution because you're missing out on all those millions of stars. So the darker you can get, And actually, every year I love to go down to there's certain star parties all around New Brunswick, but one of them that's coming up soon in August is at Mount Carleton. And I go every year because Mount Carleton is a certified dark site, which means there's zero light pollution in Mount Carleton. So you literally get to see what the dinosaurs saw. You know, those stars are as bright as can be because there's no light pollution to take away those stars from you.
Zero light. And it's certified?
A certified dark site, one of the many, not many of them left in the world, but it is one in New Brunswick that is certified.
Really?
Dark sites.
Well, there's something that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's star parties.
Yeah. Yeah, every year. And it's pretty cool because there's people that come from all around to enjoy these. And like there's 30 or 40 different telescopes set up, and they invite everybody because there's a lot of campers. And I mean, there's so much to explore at Mount Carleton. Yeah. Which is something else I love doing is getting out in nature and just loving the woods, right? So it's the best of both worlds. In the daytime, you're exploring all these beautiful trails in this park. And then at nighttime, everybody gets together and there's 30 or 40 different telescopes and they point them. Everybody's pointed at a different thing. So people just kind of walk around to the telescopes and it's just a visual night. Sometimes I'll shoot some photos while I'm there too, but it's more for people to just get introduced to astronomy and maybe take an interest in grabbing their own telescope too down the road.
What an interesting concept. And here we learned something new. We learned something more about you and who you are and some of your hobbies. And so you never know. People might reach out to you now and start asking you some questions.
Absolutely. Anytime. If you got questions, I love talking about the night sky. So
like all these, we talked a little bit too about some of the pictures that you take and stuff. And once in a while you post some on Facebook. But there's, do you ever sell any of these? Or
I've only ever sold one photo, and I've been doing this for years. It's just more of a hobby for me. But I've sold one of the solar eclipse that we had back in May. I lugged that rig down to Miramichi just for my own personal experience, and we took my daughter out of school because I said, she's got to enjoy this too.
Yeah.
And she talked about it the whole drive home, which was pretty incredible. Being a dad and a love for astronomy, seeing her kind of take an interest in it too was pretty neat. But yeah, we took some photos while we were down there with my telescope, and I made a bit of a collage from start to finish. But it was just such a surreal experience to see the moon cover up that sun. And even the moment before it went total eclipse, how much light with just that sliver of sun that was still producing. It was still daylight until that very last second. And then it went to, dusk to almost darkness, and the street lights came on, and we actually we were right on the river, the Miramichi River. We saw two bald eagles fly around and start diving for fish, thinking that, hey, it's supper time. The sun's going down. So it was even screwing the animals up a little bit, but what a neat experience to see. And I truly understand now why people travel the world to watch these eclipses with the naked eye, because, in Bathurst, you still needed those solar glasses to watch because it didn't go total. But down in Miramichi, just, 45 minutes away, we were in that path of totality. You could take your glasses off and watch with the naked eye, and it was pretty surreal to watch.
And there was quite a few people that were down there for
There was.
For this event.
It was a very busy spot. We actually met some folks that were from Vancouver that flew down to Texas, and it was so cloudy in Texas, they caught a flight that morning to come up to Miramichi and watch this eclipse. So they got there just in time.
One, you have to have some money to burn.
Yeah, you do.
And two, you got to be serious about this stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people are. There's people that travel the world just to watch these things.
Well, I was talking to this guy from British Columbia that he was thinking of flying down east to be able to see it, and at the last second he wasn't able to go, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, really? You'd buy an airline ticket just to come down to the Miramichi to look at it, but as you say, there's a lot of people. This is really serious stuff.
People do it, yeah.
Well, there we are. It's just amazing, and we learned some today, so that's all great. Looking forward to this weekend, and listening to some bands and listening to the interviews and getting to meet some people, and it's going to be fun.
I mean, what a lineup too, eh? Like let me turn this around on you, Bob, and ask you a question. Who are you looking forward to the most at the show?
You know, Barenaked Ladies has been kind of around for a long time, so I'm really looking forward to listening to these guys. And I heard a bit of an interview yesterday on CTV when they were talking that, you know, they get up and just want to have some fun. So
absolutely,
it's going to be interesting to see, and hopefully we get a chance to interview those guys in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch lined up. We're going to be chatting with Tim Hicks and the Roadhammers, and you know, who else is there? Signal Hill is going to be in town.
Oh, Signal Hill are amazing.
Bob Cajun too. I mean, they got kicked off stage last year, as you remember.
That's true, eh? Right in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Incredible thunderstorm that I think almost hit the stage. It was that close, and they, you know, they had to be safe and take them off. But that torrential downpour, like, I felt so bad for the Hospitality Days crew. There they were. They had these shovels. They were digging trenches and trying to get that water because it was covering up all the electronics and wires. But they pulled it off, and then as Glass Tiger was rolling into town, sure enough, they had the stage cleared, and the show must go on, right?
Yeah. No, that was amazing. Both of us end up experiencing that because we were in the trailer while it was coming down.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. It poured, and when that that one thunder crack when it hit, it had to hit close to the stage.
It was close. I think it almost hit the stage.
Yeah.
And so thankfully they're inviting Bob Cajun back, because they really only got to play 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah, and that was it.
And so now, they're back opening up for the Barenaked Ladies, and those guys are incredible. If you like the hip, you're going to love these guys because they sound like the real deal.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I hear that you know, even Barenaked Ladies, the tickets have gone well.
They have, yeah. I think they're almost sold out, so you might want to grab your tickets right now because you know it's going to be packed over there.
Well, I remember doing an interview with Chico and Melissa, and they were saying that capacity was something like 5,700 people or something. Bathurst has never seen that.
I think this is the biggest band they've ever brought in. I don't know how they're going to top it off next year. Yeah. But they gave us some surprises this year, so who knows what's going to happen next year.
Well, that's kind of an interesting part, right? You know, last year was a revival of the Hospitality Days, and it was great.
They killed it.
And this year they come back with Barenaked Ladies, which kind of blew me away when they said that. And you're right. How are they going to take this to another level this year? I guess the challenge is on.
It is. But yeah, I mean, the Barenaked Ladies, one heck of a band. I mean, they say it's all been done. That's one of their songs, but never in Bathurst before. So looking forward to seeing those guys for sure.
Well, again, Kirk, I want to appreciate the fact of all the work that you're doing for the community, the good words that you're out there and putting out there on the air every single day. And because of that, I'd like to give you this Northern Heat Report
that's awesome.
hat.
I got to put her on right now.
There we go.
Right now.
Look at that. How's that? That fits
snug.
you just perfect.
Yes.
There we are. And that's for turning on the heat, because that's exactly what you're doing every single day, and appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that, Bob, and thanks for doing what you guys do too, because you know, you're putting the Chaleur region on the map with ThermalWood, and then you do this report each and every week too of showcasing the great talent and the beautiful people here in the Chaleur region. So keep up the great work with doing what you're doing too.
And how do you close off every show that you do every day?
Well, we want to send everybody with peace, love, happiness, harmony, and respect, and nothing but the best of vibes.
And there we have it. Another edition of Northern Heat for this week, the place you come to listen to the stories that haven't been discovered yet.